this. Most of the communities, when stuff like this moves forward, it does get overwhelming support. And, I won't get into the numbers of it, but, the cost of this and the open space fund, we'll look at other communities and what they do, because I think people are people. So in Old Saybrook, they passed a big bond. Old Lyme, East Adams, Salem, they're all, conservation oriented. So I would expect the same thing from the community. And then if they don't, and we bring it to a town meeting or a referendum, we live and die by the sword.
Thank you.
Just a couple comments. One is to kind of go back into what Holly said. The council, if we, as a board, voted to move this forward, doesn't the clock start running at that point as far how and when it has to go before the town at a meeting or a referendum? Or is there no urgency?
I think, well, the charter provides that the request has to be made. Once the request is made, I should get before a microphone.
Yeah, I think that one might be working right there.
There you go.
Just go.
You look better on TV.
Yeah.
The charter provides that once a request is made, that there's a certain time element to proceed with it. So you have to be careful when you start to make your request.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry, Ed,
oh.
does the time element vary according to the request? What typically is the time? Are we talking 60 days, 30
I don't want
days?
to. I don't want to state the exact
All right.
time, because this is the one time in my entire career
You
that
don't.
I did not bring the charter with me.
Okay, good. Well, we couldn't vote anyway, so.
Thank you.
And then moving on, I honestly think it would be better before it came and it went to a town meeting that people had a very good idea what this project entails. I know within the community of people who are very pro-conservative conservation that support, but I think most of the town, the people that, on a daily basis really don't have a good idea of what's going on, maybe that it's even taking place. I think if you could do a PowerPoint that could be put on local access and have something that you could present at the high school or something where you could invite people into the auditorium before, so we'd have a better feeling on this board as to where the support level lies. I think that would help. And as I think Mr. DeSantis said, I think this board, if we were going to move something like this forward, have to explain to the community, okay, we have a lot of projects coming up. One of the reasons we didn't move the school project, the school project wasn't moved forward, is they weren't ready to do it. I honestly think if it came forward with the lack of information and specificity, it probably wouldn't work. I think Mark brought up some good points. Does the town want to own it? I think that needs to be a good explanation. If we did, is there an expense involved? Now that we have an expense. And one of the things, and with the open space things that have been successful, Darrow's Pond and the Samuel Smith House, there was a lot of engagement, a lot of public involvement before that went to a vote, and they were overwhelmingly approved. So I think you need a little better communication before we move this forward to the community, and you do have some time now to bring it back. I think that's all I have. And start the clockwork, and you answered the questions. Mark, I think, asked most of the questions we all would have asked. So you saved us all time with our questions. So, anything? Any final comments, Steve or Mr. Bills?
Yes, just for Mark's benefit, we see this. Our interest in this particular project lies in the fact that there's other adjacent land that's probably available for conservation. And we'd love to be more active in this part of the state. We own land in north central Connecticut, and we're also active up in, we just accepted a conservation easement in the town of Norfolk. But I was talking to somebody from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service today and happened to mention this project, and he said, I mean, there's that much forested land in large blocks still available in a Connecticut coastal town? I said, yes, and in the adjacent town as well. So we see it as an anchor piece to what could be a much more significant assemblage of protected parcels that would help both this town and your neighboring town of Waterford. So that's in large part what our interest is in seeing some, building a bigger open space, bigger block of protected forested land for the future of this town.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Beals. Thank you, Mr. Harney. And Mr. Harney does specify every time he made a presentation, he does explain that he's on the Board of Finance. He's done that every time, so appreciate that, Steve.
Thank you.
Steve, when do you expect to hear back from the federal government on the grant that you applied for?
I don't know, probably later in the year.
Okay.
Like I say, one of our biggest concerns, and I get it. We'll go out to the public if we're really we got a time clock where. Again, I think nobody will remember KSK. One of my concerns is that we were one of 4 projects to get the highest grant award they give because of the nature of the project. So, we all go out for grants. We try and get steep grants. This would almost be a black eye as we go out there and look to the federal government, the state, and private philanthropic organizations and individuals that by and large are outside of the community. I think we need to look hard and fast, and I respect all your guys' questions and comments. Every year we have in our long-range capital improvement plan, $250,000 voted on a referendum every year, right? We haven't tapped into it. I think we're making a mistake by not funding that. We do have $565,000 in an open space fund right now. We raided a little bit of that to settle litigation that really wasn't part of open space, but we did it. So, I appreciate what everybody says here, but at some point in time, for all of this to work, I think the town has to look at it. Because really all we're doing is investing in the future of the town. We all talk about quality of life in town. We have beaches, boardwalks, historic homes, open space. We don't want to steal from the next generation. This thing, if we paid cash for it, I told you before, if we bond it based on the median price in town here for a house is $200,000 to $250,000. I just had the assessor do it for purposes of our budget deliberations. Every $100,000 we bond costs that house 47 cents a year. So at some point in time, when we're extinguishing development rights or creating open space or a quality of life in town, right, we're investing in the future. So I think at some point, studies have proven that if you grow your town residentially, we go upside down. Every dollar we bring in, we spend $1.14 in services. Commercial, industrial, farm, open space, and vacant land cost 18 cents. There's data and studies done across the country. So, I think that truthfully, from your board's perspective, if somewhere you don't think this is consistent with the plan of conservation and development, then I don't think you should move it forward. But, my heart of hearts, it is consistent with our plan of conservation and development that we file every 10 years. If the Board of Finance thinks we can't afford it, it'll die there. If it goes to the public, I respect what Kevin says. But, if they're not interested, they won't show up. But by all means, I agree in vetting it, but I think at some point in time we got to somewhere make a decision on what we want to do. Not just have a vision plan, actually implement the plan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harney. Thank you, Mr. Beals, as well.
Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Nicker, oh, he's back.
It's hovering.
Hovering?
Thank you all. We'll continue with the agenda. 2B, special appropriation $1,300 EOC 2 LED TV monitors.
I'll move to approve a special appropriation in the amount of $1,300 to purchase LED TV monitors and related equipment for emergency services to an account to be established titled LED TV monitors and related revenue account and forward to the Board of Finance for action.
Second.
Any further comment?
Just that the funding is coming from reimbursements received from the state of Connecticut, so it's money we're getting for that.
Right. And these are 2 burnt-out monitors
Yes,
in the
very much
dispatch
so.
center, so they're definitely needed. I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Ayes have it. That's 2A, B, C, and D were already accomplished this evening. So 2E,
Going in order, that's from the police department. A donation of $1,000 was made to the police department by a benefactor who wished to remain anonymous. This $1,000 was deposited into a miscellaneous police revenue account. This was in January 2015. I respectfully request authorization to appropriate $1,000 for use in purchasing office supplies and equipment as we construct and furnish a new sergeant's office for the 2 prospective and now current police sergeants.
Okay, I'll move to approve a special appropriation in the amount of $1,000 to the police department. Budget account 01-25-216-300-320, miscellaneous supplies, and revenue account 01-08-800-817, miscellaneous police, for the purpose of supplies and equipment for a sergeant's office, and forward to the Board of Finance for approval.
Second.
And second, and any comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay. 2F, if Chief McDonald, if you want to come on up and help us out with this. We had some public delegation earlier that was trying to alert us to some issues. But tell me what this request is all about first.
What this request is we have more outdated fire hose than I realized. We have the money sitting earmarked for 5 sets of fire gear, which we anticipated taking in a lot of more new members during the recruitment campaign, and it didn't happen. So by allocating the $7,500 over to the fire hose, that will allow us to replace the rest of the outdated hose that's on the engine. Now, what's going to happen at this point is when the fire hose goes to get tested, when the testing company arrives at the site and they see the hose is outdated, they won't even test it. They're just going to automatically fail it. And so we have the money. It's a good opportunity to continue replacing it. We didn't ask for any more fire hose in the new budget. So that's where we're at. I mean, we have the old hose. It's time to replace it. I know my predecessor bought some hose through the years. I thought he bought a lot more than he did. And we have the money. We're not asking for any additional money. We're just asking to take money from one pot to another. So, and I'm not sure if he understood exactly what we're doing, but
Questions from the table?
No.
Do you have a good inventory system there? Because, what you're bringing up is the fact that you thought you had one thing and now
You're
you
right.
realize you're short. I
You're
mean,
right.
you got a lot of equipment. You got 2 houses over there to protect. And obviously, as we've discussed with OSHA requirements and all the testing and inspections you have to do on a yearly basis, what's our inventory control system like over there?
when I read the hose inventory, I must have misread it when I put in for the initial amount for the fire hose. So that's my hit. That's my fault. Right now, we have a new inventory system where all the new hose comes in. It's all numbered. It's all stored in a book, and we're going from there. We received a lot of the smaller size 1 3/4 hose. That's pretty much that's taken care of. The large diameter hose is taken care of. Now we're just looking to replace the remaining 3-inch fire hose that's left.
Okay. Is
Now-
the hose already purchased?
No.
All right, so we don't have a purchase order yet in and all
No,
that. You're looking
no.
to go out and buy this.
I'm looking to go out and buy it. I didn't want to purchase it and then walk in and say, "Oh, hey guys, I already purchased it." It's not a good way of doing business.
No, it's not. But you can't do that in town. At least you're not supposed to if you
And
follow.
it'll kill me.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I hear about it. Other questions?
Just after you do these purchases, what % of the fire hose is going to be new?
80 to 90%.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, we're
Not
gonna
with
be-
this purchase, but
With-
over the
With
last
the
couple of
purchase
years.
and the purchase that they requested.
with this purchase
And the
and
new
what we've
request.
had for the last 3 years. We're gonna be about 80% new.
And what's the life on them?
The new hose has an unconditional warranty of 10 years by Pond Supreme, or American Supreme is the company's name now.
Even if they never come out of the box, they're dead in 10 years.
Even if they never come off the truck, they'll come
Yeah.
off once a year. It has an unconditional warranty of 10 years.
And can they qualify beyond 10 years?
Oh, yes,
So you don't have to throw them out after 10
No.
years. They're just warranted to 10 years.
they're just warranted for
So,
10 years.
because we've heard a lot about you having to throw away perfectly good equipment because they're expired with inspections.
Unfortunately, that's the case.
Well, I know with turnout gear, isn't that after 10 years, you can still use it, you just can't take it if you're at a scene, but you just can't go into a building where there's
Right.
any fire or anything like that, because today it's fine, but at midnight, you have to run out of the building because it's no longer good.
That's correct.
Yes.
And that's the unfortunate thing with these standards. That's what happens. They put a date on it. I mean, if my turnout gear for standing outside talking on the radio is 10 years old, technically I'm not supposed to wear it inside the building. It should be replaced. It would be perfectly good set.
We heard some public discussion about ambulance association. They contribute a whole lot. I've certainly been briefed several times from several different angles on what the ambulance association does to the fire department. There's also a volunteer, like it was a Niantic Volunteer Fire Departments Inc. that also has funds. Do they buy equipment for you guys?
They'll buy a lot of stuff for the station.
Okay.
Technically, usually town equipment, no.
So they buy the stuff that makes things comfortable.
TVs, furniture in the
Yeah,
station,
yeah, the livable stuff.
livable
Yeah.
kitchen items,
Okay. All right.
chairs, office chairs.
But not operating equipment,
Not
not
operating
not
equipment.
hoses, valves, OSHA,
And all that
required
stuff
tests,
there,
etc.
we can't apply that to the ambulance because there's no way to,
Right,
associate it with emergency medical services.
right. We're pulling off turnout gear out of your, this is where the money would come from, is turnout
sir.
gear. And there is a hard expiration on those dates.
Yes.
So you were going to buy, what, 5?
I was going to buy 5 sets for the new members, but the one thing you have to realize is people that are EMTs, the ambulance association buys the turnout gear.
Right.
So three
The-
quarters of our members are certified EMTs or EMRs or. and-
That's not always the case. We just got hit with a big bill last year for Scott air packs that we're paying on through our capital improvement.
Yeah, see, the ambulance doesn't buy the Scott air packs. The only air packs they bought.
Oh, turnout gear, not Scott air.
Yeah,
packs.
Turnout gear.
Sorry.
Different.
My-
The
my
ambulance
apologies.
contributed some money for the air packs.
Right, right. Okay.
Okay. I move to approve reallocating the amount of $7,500 in account 01-70-724-700-461 PS-NFD equipment from fire gear to fire hose and forward to the Board of Finance for approval.
Second.
Any further comment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay. Let's have it. Very good.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Um, 2G, fiscal year transfers within departments. Various transfers within department budgets have been necessary for various reasons. We're about, 70% through our town budget and through our fiscal year, so this is what's going to come up on our agenda a lot in the next couple months. Attached is a documentation which, for transfers made, a total of $27,043.85. Information presented includes a from an account number, a description of the item, and a to account number. And you'll see that in front of you. So several items. And basically, we're just making sure that there's enough money in various accounts to cover bills that we anticipate or that are sitting on desks to be paid.
All right, I will make a motion
Great.
to move to Move to ratify departmental transfers in the amount of $27,043.85 processed for fiscal year end June 30, 2014, and forward to the Board of Finance for approval.
Second.
It's been seconded. Any further comment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? There it is. Did you just say,
Should that
oh,
be
it's the
2000
14-15.
Should that be fiscal year?
We're
Oh,
in
no,
the
yeah, we're not
We're in the
saying
14-15
Yeah,
budget.
we're the fiscal year ending.
Yes, we get that right.
June 30,
Um,
2015.
Yeah, it should be 2015. Correct, Anna? Okay, I'll amend my motion to make that 2015. All right. Whoever seconded.
Amended second.
I will resecond.
So we'll vote on the amended motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any abstain or oppose? Okay. 2H has been stricken from tonight's agenda. 2I is from Sergeant Blanchett. This is a shortfall of monies due to a $5,100 bill for the in-car computer program, IMC. Bless you. Which was paid from our operating budget, which had previously been paid in full by the East Lyme Ambulance Fund and is not being funded this year. Money is needed to pay the overdue bill for our annual maintenance contract to Star Computers for our in-car and desktop computer systems. And you see it, or I have a note in front of me that the contingency account balance prior to this request was $28,000 plus. So that's where we'll be pulling the money from our contingency, which is there to cover items such as this.
Move to approve the expenditure of $5,000 from account 01-01-120-200-500 contingency to pay the 2014-15 Police Department share of the Star Computers contract and forward to the Board of Finance for approval. This was agreed upon during the budget process, however, not included in the Police Department budget.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? There we go. We have some unfinished business. We are coming up on our 30 days that we're charged with doing this. We had some departures from the commission tonight and someone who couldn't make it. So, what we're trying to do is go for a full commission and make this appointment this evening, but we're left with 4 again, which is enough for a vote, but certainly not a full complement of select persons. I believe Mr. DeRosa is in the audience. Are you here to speak? It is customary. We do allow you to come up and introduce yourself as we're reading over your application and resume. So should you want to say a few words, you are welcome to. It's not necessary. It's not required. But since you're here,
my name is Peter DeRosa, and mostly speaking, just to introduce myself to the Board of Selectmen. I'm fairly new on the scene politically in town. I've lived in East Lyme since I counted 1966, I think, is when I moved to East Lyme with my family, all the way from Waterford. Okay, so, and I'm a product of the East Lyme schools. My daughters are products of the East Lyme school and had Roseanne Hardy for a teacher, and I was Art Carson's paper boy, by the way. So I've been at I'm a counselor by trade. I work for Natrog Hospital. It's a private psychiatric hospital. And most of the last 20 years I've been an administrator, both at Natrog and other agencies. In my career, I've been involved in some civic duties, most notably the Eastern Connecticut Chamber of Commerce. I've been very active with that. I chair the Healthcare Council for the Chamber of Commerce. I'm on the Legislative Committee for the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm also a trustee on the board for the Chamber of Commerce. Along those same lines, I'm also on the Healthcare Committee of the Southeastern Connecticut Council of Governments. It's a subcommittee of the Council of Governments where a lot of the hospitals and human service agencies work together to coordinate services for the area. For many years, I was involved in a local child mental health advocacy organization, and I'm on a scholarship committee funding scholarships for disabled workers. It's something I've been doing for about 20 years. I'm interested in the zoning commission because I want to give back to the town. My kids are finally launched. The last one just got her big job last week. I have time on my hands, and I don't have to pay the cell phone bill anymore. And so having been a resident of the town for many years, I want to give back to the town, and I have a lot of interest in what's going on. I took an opportunity to read the minutes of the zoning commission for the last year just to see what they're all about. I was very impressed with how the commission works together as a team. It seems to work well together, and I'm just looking for an opportunity to give back to the town. I don't have an agenda. I don't have a business in town. I don't want to build a chicken manure factory on my street or anything like that. I just want to do what's right for the town. So I appreciate your time.
Get rid of a couple of the Frosties, probably.
They're leveling out.
I noticed, yeah.
They're
Yeah, they
leveling
did.
out a little
They
bit.
went away, didn't they?
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank
for
you,
your time.
Peter. Appreciate that. I know that Mr. Singer is not here. You know, both candidates have extensive resumes. I know that Mr. Salerno is familiar with Mr. Singer. If you want to just highlight some of the things that we already know about him.
Yes, just first of all, it's really nice to see that we have really qualified candidates going for these positions. Being on the zoning, and Mark, you've been on a long time. We don't always see that when we're appointing people. Sometimes we have a really hard time. This is one of the first times I've seen where we had two really qualified people going for it. So I think that's a really good thing. I have known Sean for many years. I do work with him. I find him to be a very impartial person that sees the big picture, but is a detailed-oriented by nature. You guys have his resume. I think he would also be a good member for you to consider joining the commission, as the commission is always looking for people that, as both candidates are, seem to be very impartial and very dedicated to this town.
Great. Thank you. I can take a motion.
I move we appoint Sean Singer as an alternate to the zoning commission
Through December 7th of...
or through December 7th of 2015.
That's what you have. Okay.
Second.
And it's been seconded. Any further comments?
I just would like to, we'll do the vote first.
No, you can make a comment.
I just wanted to thank very much Mr. DeRosa, hope that he still stays active, and please, we'd love to see that someone willing to come forward to service, and not just said you're interested, we'll reach you. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For all the right reasons. It's great to have people get involved in our community. For all the right reasons. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Again, yeah. We'll see you in November, and giving, yes, indeed, giving your time, your talent, your energy, your passion to the town that you're passionate about. There's no greater reward. I can attest to that. Here we are. Okay.
Yeah, 9
This
o'clock
is-
on a Wednesday night, yes.
Just to add, if
I've been here all week. Thank you.
right, there are appointed positions between now and November. If you're interested, I think there may be a few open. Just please let us know.
Yes, indeed. I'll just read a quick note. The Niantic Lions Club donated $2,240 to the East Lyme Senior Center, and Mrs. Kathy Wilson in your packet had written a letter of thanks for their generous donation for the purchase of an additional freezer for community center. Sometimes they get